the Indian government is funding ISRO more than ever, but the Indian budget don't allow us to invest more. But even then, government is increasing its funding every year. How can India balance its budget? Well, I am not an economist, but there are always many ways of cutting out wasteful expenditure. Every government has wastage of expenditure. There are schemes that are populist in nature. They are designed to appease certain sections of society or certain classes of society, etc. Certain schemes are good for garnering votes, but they are not good for the nation in the long run. So I am not making any specific criticisms or pointing out any specific schemes. I am just saying that it is always possible to, for a country as large and as immense as India, to better allocate its financial and budgetary resources in the things that really matter in the long run. So we may, if we invest money in science and technology and space programs, at the present time, it may look like we are wasting money. But 30 years down the line, it's going to pay back 10 times more than we ever expected, because technology always comes back in different forms. So the US space program was basically a military competition with Russia. And yet the technology that had to be invented to make the space program possible had immense spin-off effects in the civilian population. I mean, so many technologies came out of the space program which were initially meant to be military technologies, but then they became available for civilian use, and that advanced the economy and the standards of living. There are so many such technologies. Wireless communication is one of these, and I don't have it at my fingertips right now, but there are a lot of technologies that came out of this, and these are all more or less ubiquitous today in our day-to-day lives. For example, we would not be having this conversation without space technology, right? And much more. So that's why we need to invest in this. We can better balance our budgets, and we can maybe cut down on some expenditures and invest in something that will be good for the country in the long term. So you always should keep the long term in mind. Temporary pleasures may make you happy for the next 5 minutes, but it may have a harmful effect in the long run. So always think of the long run, always think of the next generations, the future generations, and the long-term future and prosperity of the country. So I would want the government to fund ISRO more.